Alright, part two. Okay, here we go. So, Scott Pilgrim, like I was saying, it was awesome. The coolest thing I thought about this movie is it dealt with a lot of multiple personalities really well. The movie dealt with the fact that it was a romantic comedy, an action movie, and that it had to be visually unique, if you know what I mean. A lot of movies, they just try to be visually unique. This movie dealt with a multiple personality disorder really well, and that I heard that the movie was actually not finished by the time the last few books came out, and that the movie suffered for it. I think it does a little bit. You can tell that the last act is kind of rushly written, kind of generic, but it's nothing that anyone who hasn't heard that the last few books were written by that time won't notice. It's nothing. It's not a bad ending or anything. I'm trying not to spoil anything for anyone, but I mean, it was an amazing movie, and you know. I kind of went into it thinking like I did with Kick-Ass, that I didn't really know what I was in for, especially with Kick-Ass. This movie I knew a little bit more, and so I was expecting a little bit more, I guess. With Kick-Ass, I had no expectations, and I got blown away. But with Scott Pilgrim, it was amazing. The character of Scott was just like me in a lot of ways, and that was kind of sad, but the movie was it was really well made, and it had a lot of fun with the video game motifs, but it never went overboard with them. The movie never got strangled by them and used them as a crutch. Which I thought was really good, and that was the thing I was worried about, is that it would just use video game, references as its crutch, and it just would abuse them, and it did not at all. It used them as an effective tool, and it was like the advertisement said, it's an epic of epicness. Yeah, it's not like a lot of other reviewers, like my favorite reviewer, Movie Bob, said it's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely one of the most important movies ever made. Yeah, you heard me. Ever made. At least for people into game culture and, just popular culture in general. I mean, there's a lot of... I thought it was funny that there was a lot of jokes in there where I was the only person laughing in the theater. I'm like... And then I went over and I'm just like... A lot of times where I'm just going, why am I the only person laughing in the theater right now? I was surprised by the people that were in the theater. A lot of, a lot of older people. Not a lot of old people, but I was a little bit surprised by, not a lot of people in their 20s. They've probably seen the movie already. So, I just thought it was kind of, it was awesome, and, it should be doing better than it is. That's all I have to say about the movie without really spoiling anything. I guess I could get back on the topic of Weezer. A little schizophrenic here, but Weezer's awesome. Yeah, Weezer put on one hell of a show. One thing I didn't mention is that they really can pick a set list. For all the people bitching, complaining about their newer stuff not being that good, when they put on a concert, they pick the songs everyone wants to hear, at least for one that's not for an album, as this one was. It wasn't for promoting an album or anything, so they can put on one hell of a concert. They picked every song you would expect, to hear from Weezer. They played, and they played only two songs that weren't, that you weren't really like you didn't really care if they played or not. That was their new song, but that was just icing on the cake. That was awesome. That was the first time they'd ever played that. So I loved it, but everyone else wasn't like expecting it or anything. And then they played Surf Wax America, which is just awesome because it's an awesome rocking out song. How I felt about the crowd I was in, I loved being close to the band, but it kind of sucked that there were a bunch of really drunk douchebags there, and I found that really ironic. And then people smoking weed, that's like another really weird, ironic thing of Weezer, is that Weezer has always been the band that's kind of like, I mean, yeah, they get drunk and stuff, but they've always been kind of the band that's kind of like made fun of that whole culture and kind of, been the twist on the typical rock culture, the kind of the ironic band for that whole thing. At least that's the way I've perceived them, especially the way Rivers acts on stage. It's hilarious. He kind of just does his own thing, which is awesome, and I think the way that everyone should. Wow, cats are really bugging me now. Wow, they didn't bug me all day and then decided to make the video and they're bugging me all day. So, Weezer, everyone bitching about Weezer, just shut the hell up. I'm serious. Shut the hell up. Rivers doesn't care anymore about you complaining. He's gonna do what he wants, and what he's doing, if you used your pathetic little brain and realized that they don't want to make the same music they've been making for years, that they're experimenting and trying new stuff, just deal with it. Alright? And trust me, listen to Ratitude about like 3 times. That's about what it took, and I actually really liked it. First two times I heard it, I didn't think it was that great either. I'm gonna be honest. It kind of had this not kind of odd, weird, boring, poppy kind of sound to it, and it took a while, and it actually really grew on me. So, things are deeper than you think they are. And it seems weird that everyone's saying, oh, their only good albums were the Pinkerton and Blue album. Well, all those people need to listen to Malroit, which is an album I just found out about, and oh man, that's just awesome. Pick it up. It's got sounds of metal, sounds of slob, which is probably one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. It's an awesome little album that never got any attention. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are Weezer fans or not, but I became a huge one. So I just thought that this would be a fun little episode. Throw a little Scott Pilgrim in there. And the game episodes are coming. Don't worry about it. The StarCraft 2 one, I have something special planned. I gotta actually write a script for it that I've been working on. So that one's actually going to be a lot of fun once I get it done. So consider that like the lost episode. And this kind of episode 3. And then coming up here is going to be probably the Dead Rising 2 episode once it comes out. So I'm going to have like a Dead Rising 2 episode after all that. One last thing. In my top 10, I can't believe I did this, but I neglected Deus Ex. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Consider Deus Ex tied for Snatcher at number 10. Deus Ex probably invented a lot of the free choice that there is in games nowadays. A lot of games like Oblivion, Fallout 3, Mass Effect, a lot of games nowadays. Alpha Protocol, which I am actually going to make an episode about eventually. Hold on, I will get an Alpha Protocol episode out. All 5 people that have played it. And that liked it. So consider Deus Ex officially on the list. Alright, signing off guys. Goodbye.